Geno's Picks is filmed before a live studio audience. Hi, and welcome to Geno's Picks. Yeah, see that? Election day. Thank you so much. Election day, everyone's off, so our buddy James is in the studio. We'll talk about that later, but let's get right to it. 1-3 for the second straight week. I know it's dropping Geno's Picks. We're reeling. We're at 15-21. We're at 41%, but it's time for a market correction. So let's get right to it. But let's address the elephant in the room. Not you, James, buddy. We're talking about Richie Incognito and the whole scandal going on of how he bullied this Martin guy. Stop it. How does a 300-pound lineman get bullied by another one? That doesn't even happen in sumo wrestling. Stop it. We all know what's going on here. I think it's ironic that this whole scandal centers around a guy named Incognito, which means vague and in disguise, when three things are obvious here. One of them's gay, one of them's a racist, and I'm only against one of those. Maybe I should point out which one? Let's get to the picks. My first pick. All favorites worked last week. Not. All right. The Jags are getting 13 from the Titans in Tennessee. People, sometimes a bye is just what a team needs, like the Jags. But no, not a bye week off where your troubled #1 draft pick checks into rehab and your thoughts of anything other than cashing in on a new #1 pick of the following season move to the top of your to-do list. No, people, the Jags need a buyer. Someone that will take this team and move them out of Florida where they have enough crappy teams and move them to LA where they can have a fresh start because the product they have in Jacksonville right now is unwatchable. Well, the jackass that is Blackman has been replaced by Ace Sanders. Really? That makes the starting O for the Jags Sanders, Cecil Shorts the third. And by the way, what is it with all the thirds? You should not be allowed to have a third on your jersey if you can find the first two guys in your family and have them in the stadium. Shorts the third, MJD, Chad Henne. Ugh. The only thing uglier than the Jags on paper are the Jags on the field because their new uniforms are hideous, and I haven't seen a helmet that disturbing since John Wayne Bobbitt made a porno. Louder. Well, the Titans are playing well, and Blaine Gabbert has proven to be a bust. Jake Locker is slowly maturing into a QB you can build a future with. I'm taking the Titans, and I'm laying the 13. My next pick, the Saints are giving 6.5 to the Cowboys in New Orleans. Wow, is it me or are the Saints night and day on the road and at home? Not only did they just get pummeled by a fellow Jekyll and Hyde team in the New York Jets. Yay! Thank you, New York. This past Sunday in New Jersey, but they collapsed in New England 3 weeks ago. And maybe you've forgotten how they needed a still winless Buccaneers team to miss a field goal in week 2 to squeak by them back in Tampa Bay. Yes, the Saints cannot be trusted on the road, but get this, people. In their 4 home wins, their average margin of victory is just under 15, which is not only the best scoring average in the NFL, it's double the scoring average of former DJ Dave Herman, who's scoring with an average of just under 9. Meanwhile, Dallas looks as bad winning as they do losing, and the last thing they need is the news that Jerry Jones says he needs to be on the sidelines more. No, stupid. Your defense needs to be on the sidelines more. Not only does that keep their offense off the field, people, it keeps Dez Bryant on it, who's more careless with his helmet than the guy from the last joke. Stop it, people. Dallas doesn't win this game. Where's my canned laughter? Take the Saints, lay the 6.5. My next pick, Denver is giving 6 to my Chargers in San Diego. Wow, how bad did the Chargers look in losing that game this past Sunday to the Redskins? To not be able to move a ball 15 inches with 3 plays and a full complement of timeouts is inexcusable, especially when you have Ryan Matthews for some reason on the sideline and you call 2 ridiculous pass plays. And again, I'm not blaming this game on Phillip Rivers like idiots do, as he not only marched the Bolts down the field to score those last 10 points, although the 7 was taken off the board on what Danny Wood had appeared to be a game-tying touchdown, but it wasn't because he just missed it. So what does Mike McCoy do with all that time left? He starts calling ridiculous plays. Mike, there's a huge difference between asking a QB to complete a quick slant in 16 yards of space or asking him to complete a slow-developing rollout in 10.5 yards where you have more black athletes stuffing themselves into a box than Madonna did in the 80s. People, then you think you're funny on the web with all these memes of Phillip Rivers because they're so easy to make. I get it. Phillip Rivers has been captured with his face frozen in more ridiculous positions than Joan Rivers. But just like her, they'd both be doing a lot better if they didn't listen to the idiots they surround themselves with. By the way, Denver is too good, and I know Jack Del Rio is the head coach now with Fox on the sideline, but let me just say this. It's a good thing Fox wasn't golfing in San Diego this Sunday, because he would have had to wait between about 1,000 other Charger fans who had a heart attack at the same time watching that game. Take the Broncos, lay the 7. Which brings me to my Double Your Money Monday Night Betters, I like to call it. Let's just wrap this up and get out of here, people. The Miami Dolphins are giving 2.5 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I don't know what team I trust less. The Dolphins, who have had 10 days to rest, but those 10 days were spent in what's probably been the most tumultuous situation going on in football that I can remember in the last 5 or 6 years. Or the Buccaneers, who are coming off Sunday's humiliating, crushing loss at the end of the Seattle game. I think it's going to come down to this. The 2 key players, actually 3 that are missing. Because on the Bucs, you still have Revis Island, who's going to give Tannehill fits, especially when he is without 2 of his best offensive linemen in Incognito, who's suspended, and Martin, who between you and me is not on Revis Island as much as Fire Island. A lot of holes for Miami. Taking the Buccaneers and the 2.5 we're getting. Boom goes the dynamite.